G'day there. You're watching the Aussie BIM Guru, and you've reached part 9 of my Python quick tip series. And today we're going to be looking at the zip function, specifically how to iterate with it, and then just a couple of other functions for it after. So we've previously looked at using loops, so essentially a form of iteration where we repeat a process to generate an outcome. In the case we looked at, we were working typically across lists to apply a common function to each item in the list, and sometimes we used it to rebuild a new list with the outcomes, or just to print the outcomes as they occur. But what if we have multiple lists that we want to iterate across in parallel? So you may have multiple lists of variables, maybe a set of letters and a set of numbers that you want to work with at the same indices in the lists. So you could technically use a typical for loop by building a range based on the length of the lists that you're working with, and you could call on the indices of those respective lists inside the function using the global lists as a local operation. It's a little bit inefficient, and there's a better way of doing it typically, which is to use zip iteration. So it's very similar to a for loop in its syntax, but instead we can specify multiple local variables, and then we can call on zip and close in brackets the objects that from the global level of the script that we want to work across at the local level in the local variables. So very similar to the for function. So it can support multiple variables and keep them in parallel. It can be more than 2, it can be as many as you want, as many lists as you have that you want to work across. You can see here an example where we have a list of numbers and a list of numbers that we're calling power. In this case, we're building an empty list and we're zip iterating using both the numbers and the powers as n and p for local variables. You can see we're generating a value in the loop and we're just putting n to the power of p and appending that to a new list. And you can see the result essentially lets us iterate across multiple variables in parallel. So you can see that's quite a handy method as opposed to a for loop, which can only use one variable. You can also use the zip function for things other than iterating, which is similar to an iterative process. So you can use it for zip sorting. This is quite a handy function. In this case, you just call on list, bracket zip, bracket, and then you call on a list of keys and a list of what you want to sort. So obviously your keys need to be something that is sortable, such as letters or numbers. And in this case, you're going to return the data in the form of tuples, which are essentially a set of objects that Python holds together as a special data type. So you can see here that we're calling on the list zip function and we're reorganizing some letters based on the numeric keys. In this case, the numeric keys correlate to the position of the letter in the alphabet, not with a Pythonic index, but with a numerical index. So 1 is A, 2 is B, etc. And we're going to apply the sort function to that zip list function. And you can see the outcome is a list containing sets of tuples with the sorted data. So you can see we have 1A, 2B, 3C, and 4D. But we can't really work with the tuples in this way. They're not a workable data type in many other purposes. So in this case, we're going to apply what's called an unzipping function. So we're going to be specifying 2 variables, which we're going to unpack our tuples into. We're going to call on the zip function, but we're going to put an asterisk before the set of tuples in that list, so that list variable we have. And you can call on multiple variables here, I believe. I think tuples can support more than one object at once, but in this case, we're just working with 2 variables. So you can see here we've taken the next step in our process here, and we're assigning the unpacked tuples to variable 1 and variable 2, or var1, var2, and then we're printing them. But before we do this, we need to convert them to a list. You can unpack tuples into lists just by putting list bracket before them, and as a result you can see we have 2 sorted lists as our outcome. There are some more uses for zip functions. One of them is just to work in parallel. So you can use zip to do parallel arithmetic. I'm not going to cover it here just because it's not commonly used, and a lot of people that use it for data science, they typically use NumPy instead to work across arrays, which is similar but probably a bit more advanced. You can also use zip to combine data into dictionaries. So you can assign a key list and some data lists and really easily build a dictionary rather than manually putting together a dictionary, which most people almost never do in data science, for example. So it's worth looking into these if you're interested by the zip function, but I think the functions I've shown here are probably the most commonly used for zip. So hopefully you found that useful. In the next video, we're going to be looking at putting it all together in context. So I'm actually going to work live and show you how I'd combine these functions to put together something that can solve a basic statistics problem. So hopefully you found this video useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the last part. Thanks. Take care. Bye.